am Kelly and I draw things, and this is the worst art advice I've received and what I wish I was told instead. So number one is being told to only draw realistically, traditionally, and never stylize. I was told this when I was in my sophomore drawing class. It was my first real drawing class, and we were doing still lifes and portraits and things of that nature, learning the drawing basics. And so what I thought she meant when she told us to never stylize was like, ever. I took it as an absolute, like from this point on, for the rest of your life, never stylize anything. Looking back, was that extreme? Yeah. But that's how I took it in my 15-year-old brain was, oh, okay, forever and ever I need to draw super realistically. I guess I forgot cartoons exist. But what she really meant was in the context of that class, draw realistically, because we were developing our foundation skills, and you need to learn to draw traditionally to understand light and form, shade, highlight, things like that, before you start to shorthand it, because you need to mentally be able to build it up before you break it back down. Because having strong foundation work can create a really solid base for you to then have your stylized work built on top of. Hence the word foundation. What I should have been told instead was practicing from life is great. Try to draw things as close to as they are in real life as you possibly can. This is great practice for building your foundation. But then also encouraging me to practice stylizing things in my sketchbook, having fun, drawing cartoony, all of that, in tandem with learning the basics. I think it would have helped me grow faster and find my style sooner, because I struggled a long time with that. Worst advice number 2, do not draw from photos and do not draw from reference. This is bad advice. So the context, again, I was in the same high school drawing class and we were doing the traditional drawings of still lifes, portraits, etc. And what I thought she meant was, again, absolutely never use a photo, which again was a little extreme. And then I took that and I interpreted that using any reference at all was bad, which is completely and absolutely incorrect. What I should have been told instead, there is a good way to draw from photos and a bad way to draw from photos. The bad way to draw from photos is if you're doing a traditional project, again, still lifes, portraits, things like that. You should be drawing from the actual still life, not a photo of the still life. And there's 2 reasons for this. One, the photo you're looking at, if you're drawing from a photo, is going to be a lot smaller than the actual still life, and you're not going to be able to see all the details. Even if you zoom in, you are losing those details context within the piece, and it's going to become really puzzle piecey, and that's hard to get to line up. You're also not going to be able to look at those details and the textures on the surface in the same way. And 2, when you take a photo, it takes all the depth in the space that your eye naturally perceives and flattens it all together. So your drawing also looks flat because you're drawing from a space that has been flattened instead of drawing from the real space that has actual depth. So drawing from life is going to make stronger, traditional, realistic drawings. Now, the good way from drawing from photos. Drawing from reference, even when inventing things, is super important, especially if it's something you can't physically get your hands on. For example, I do not have a tiger in my backyard, unfortunately. So looking at a photo or a reference of how tiger anatomy works is only going to benefit my drawing. It's not going to hurt it in any way. So my tiger anatomy will be more spot on. My stripes of the tiger will be more spot on because I can draw straight lines all day. That's not how tiger stripes actually are. And using reference like that will just make my work stronger. So again, using photos in substitution of real life for still lives and portraits and natural, traditional, realistic drawings, not so great. Great ways to use photos is for reference when you're drawing things you don't physically have access to. So worst advice number 3 is you could always be drawing. So in context, we were all sitting in class and my professor was talking about all the things we do instead of working. And his examples were, instead of watching TV, you could be drawing. Instead of going out with friends, you could be drawing. And it caused me to take it to the extreme and questioned everything I ever did instead of working on my drawing. Now, for some people, it's great advice. You could be drawing if they, really have trouble getting to work. For me, I have trouble not working. So not so great advice for me. Worst advice number 4, taking financial advice from artists. Artists are artists, not licensed accountants. I have heard illegal financial advice be given to a group of student artists from an artist who was decades into their creative career. And I confirmed it was illegal because I immediately texted my tax accountant and was like, hey, isn't this super illegal? And she was like, oh yeah, that's like go to jail super illegal. That is a federal crime, what they're recommending to those students. So do not do that. So my last piece of advice is to take all of the financial advice you hear online with a grain of salt. And some of you might be like, Kelly, you talk about finances on this channel all the time. And I say yes, because I'm trying to remove the wall and create more transparency in the art and design field when it comes to finances and money. But there's a difference between talking about my personal experience with money and giving someone specific advice on taxes or their income. So my last piece of advice for you is to not take financial advice from artists online or in person, and seek out financial and tax information from licensed professionals, because it does change every year. Your friend might be 100% right for last year, and this year there might be a new rule they don't know about yet. Because the argument of, well, my artist friend told me to do this, isn't a great argument when you're being investigated for tax fraud. If you liked this video, you might also like this video. Thank you for watching and enjoy the next video. Bye.